educational field trips, and other events. The executive director and president, Tajudeena Jones, I'll call you Taj for now,
Yes,
is
sir.
the president of Totally Positive Productions. We spoke a lot when we talk about Inglewood, when we talk about any communities and dealing with the issues communities are having. Engaging young people seems to be a reoccurring theme. Tell me about the importance of engaging young people in Inglewood.
Well, it's important because, you know, we're up against the drugs, the gangs, and the violence that's prevalent in the Inglewood community, as well as disadvantaged communities among Chicago. And the key is to have positive off the street, or these activities that's after school, that's enjoyable, that's something to keep them from being on the streets. Because if we're losing them to the streets, and the key is to have programming that helps work on their behaviors. I think it's a key issue that we need to focus on too, because a lot of fights or a lot of gunshots is because of somebody saying something negative or somebody not looking at them in the right way. It's just something that's so minute that's causing a lot of catastrophe.
When I speak to organizations like Ceasefire and they talk about conflict resolutions and being right there on the street and talking to people and making them work out the issues before they expand or blow up into a bigger problem, one of the problems is getting the kids to come in and sit down and talk about what's going on with them. Tell me about your outreach and how you get kids to sit down and be honest and talk about and express to you what it is they're going through so you can address these issues.
Yes, that's interesting. And one of the programs that we've implemented was the Community Works Crime Prevention Program, where the curriculum comes from the National Crime Prevention Council in Washington, D.C. And we teach 31 lessons on crime prevention strategies and tips. And one of the sessions is on conflict management or conflict resolutions, how to handle yourself. There's 5 conflict management: stay calm, say thank you, apologize. It's different venues that you can use, and most of the youth didn't know about it. And how we bring them in, we venture out with, like, we just completed our 2nd year of it at Ogden Park, and it was a larger turnout, thanks for a grant we received from State Farm Youth Advisory Board. But the key was to have a program where they come and sit down and discuss issues openly among us, because the problems that we're finding out that the youth are having is, number one, the adults are not listening to them, or the parents. So to have a forum or a discussion where they feel comfortable among their own age groups, because we service youth 9 to 25, but the Community Works, we had them as young as 9 to 23 in there. So we just had open discussions and did reading exercises, and they was freely able to open up and really find out. And they found that it was great to have programs that was after school, but they could sit down and discuss open issues. It was nothing that was off limits. Because, you know, by me being the minister, I try to also, you know, instill the right way they should go.
Right. And you focus a lot on the talents that these young people have. They're very talented young people out here.
Yes.
A lot of times they don't get a chance to really express it in a positive and in a constructive manner. And, you know, when many neighborhoods suffer from a problem of, as the years go by and things change, many of the cultural institutions that bind a neighborhood together through the generations, that deal with arts, that deal with entertainment, that deal with the church, that deal with culture, they leave the neighborhood. They're gone. They crumble. They disappear. Young people don't have anything to cling on to or to learn from, don't have a legacy which they can cherish and they can hold on and put value in themselves and put value in. You try to bring some of this value back to young people as far as the talents intrinsically that they carry.
Yes, sir. And it's difficult because funding is a big issue. I mean, that's what aids into the community being disadvantaged, is lack of funding coming for good programs. And what we do is positive rap, singing, dance, spoken words. Those are the mediums that we use that the youth are familiar with. And see, that's one way that we felt that we had to go to help educate them, because you can't just say, well, reading, science, math. You have to do it in a creative manner. And when we do our programs, the end result is an essay and presentation. So throughout, if it's a service learning project or the Community Works program, we're doing reading exercise, we're doing presentation skills. So they become ready when it comes time for that essay presentation competition, where the prizes go as high as 500 for first place, 400 for second place, 300 for third place. So we help move them along. And the ones that's been in our program last year, I've seen tremendous growth, reading skills, presentations. They're not as shy anymore.
And
they're
once
coming
again,
out.
you're talking about the fact that they're just being engaged by someone.
Exactly.
Then they're able to grow and they're able to assess where they are and set goals for themselves and move forward from there.
Yes, sir.
Beyond that, I mean, you deal with people. You're out on the streets. You're talking to people in the community, particularly young people. What's going on with young people in Inglewood now? We had a peak of violence a couple of years back, which were major headlines across the board. How would you assess what's going on in Inglewood Inglewood right
Well,
now?
right now it's the lack of positive role models, and young ones as myself and other ones that want to take lead and help them, because it's real issues out here, and people want to sugarcoat it. It's gangs, drugs, and violence, and some of the kids that want to do good are in homes that's dysfunctional. I mean, there's cursing, there's a lot of things that's not good morale that they're constantly battling with. So they go to school, then their friends may be on the wrong side of the road, then they come home to an environment that's not right. Sometimes they want a program, and they're looking for it. And then one thing that we've grown, not only helping the youth that's low income, but we're starting to attract the youth or agencies that have kids that's in foster care and in the system. And to me, I find that enjoyable, because not only do we want to help the low income and the youth, we want to help the ones that's in the system.
Right.
Because they need help too, behaviors, and know how to just simply say yes sir, yes ma'am, or good morning, good afternoon. That's a chore in itself. Stop the cursing, because a lot of them like to curse and go on, and those are not proper protocols in a setting that's trying to help them overall.
For young people who want to get involved with Totally Positive, or to want to be a part of it, how do they get involved? What do they do? What are the processes for you to really get involved and really do things with Totally Positive?
Well, if they want to, we have a website, www.totallypositiveproductions.com, or we also have a P-Rap website where we do positive rap, which is www.p-rap.com. And also we, do mail-ins. We have the mail-ins as well as websites, and do advertisement. And one project that we did earlier this year was a public service announcement, which was a 5-week service learning project where we had a group of young people and their parents, some parents, we're ages 11 to 18, researched, wrote, and produced their own public service announcement.
I guess one of the things that you keep bringing up is that without rebuilding families, we're really up against a wall here. And I mean, we're running out of time here,
Yes.
but rebuilding families and maintaining a constructive family structure has got to be paramount in everything you do.
Yes, sir, and that's important, and we encourage it. Some programs don't encourage it. We do, because the parents need to be taught too and trained on proper protocol and how to conduct themselves in front of their kids and the public as a whole. So we do welcome parent involvement.
Well,
And encourage
Taj,
it.
Reverend Jones, you go by a lot of different names, but you wear a lot of hats, and that's really good. That's
Yes,
a really positive thing. Totally Positive Productions, something that's bringing life back to Inglewood. This is Now.Chicago.
Totally Positive Productions. To educate the whole Chicago community about the creative talents and resources of the young people in these disadvantaged areas. To expose the talents of young artists, talent agencies, and producers, and to help the young people in these areas have a positive outlook on life, themselves, and their community. See what's happening right now in Inglewood with our In the Community Now segment of Now.Chicago. We visited Imagine Inglewood If, and here's what the students had to say.
I work here after school, but I'm still in the safety net program, and I come here, and after I'm done working, I do my homework, or I do stuff that's needed around here. I help other people as far as tutoring and stuff, and we have different classes here that we take up, and we do activities that they provide for us, and we have food as far as a snack, because we be here basically all day.
I do a lot of things here. Just to name a few, I do media classes, poetry classes, journalism classes, also STI classes, just to name a few.
And we have outreach programs and surveys and stuff where we go out and ask other kids to join us and let them know what we got. If we got something good, we feel like everybody else should know about it.
this is an organization that is very positive for young people, especially males, since males, you know, in reality, we are the ones out doing killings and, you know, just breaking the laws. And this organization will help, you know, bring in young men, you know, have a lot of different activities they can do, programs they can join, tutoring classes, anything that help get the young men in the Imagine Eagle with their program.
I actually feel like I was blessed to find Miss Hill because of the simple fact that I was sitting on my church stairs and getting ready to go to choir rehearsal, and then just out the blue, I was just praying and asking God for a job over the summertime because I was basically doing nothing. And then here she come pull up and she asked us did we have a summer job and what we was doing over the summer. So it kind of like, I felt like it was just an answer to my prayers, and then at the same time I ended up and was blessed with a permanent job working here. So now I don't have to worry about asking my mama for a lot of stuff now because I'm growing up and I gotta take responsibility for myself. It's not all that bad, but it's kind of like disturbing at times because there'd be a lot of killings and shooting stuff around here, and it'd be mainly us killing ourselves. But I feel like if we just get some people to talk to us and make us understand a whole lot about society, it'll be better.
There's not a lot of people that you will find like me in the Inglewood community. You know, I'm a hard worker. You know, I'm dedicated to my community. You know, I do anything for it. And it's like now, you know, the youth, you know, we the last ones, you know, we need to help take care of the community.